Terrana, and welcome to Beginning Drums. The first thing I'd like to talk to you about is the anatomy of the drum set. Obviously, this is a fairly elaborate kit, and it's taken me about 10-15 years to get my drums to this point. I wouldn't recommend starting off with such an elaborate kit. You basically just need the essential components, which I'm going to show you right now. The first thing I'll describe is the bass drum, or the kick drum, and this is called the snare drum. These two components together are kind of the locomotion for the song. The snare drum provides the strong 2 and 4 punch, along with the kick drum usually on 1 and 3, so you get a really good solid driving groove. Okay. Next are the toms. This is called a rack tom, and these lower drums down here are known as the floor toms. And these can be used for groove situations or for playing melodic fills. The cymbals, which are above me here, these are known as crash cymbals. They're basically used for accenting, although they can be used for crash ride type patterns. And speaking of rides, this is the ride cymbal. This is also a very important cymbal as far as being utilized in a timekeeping situation. Another cymbal that's very important in keeping time is the hi-hat. That can be done either by closing it with your foot or by hitting it with the stick, and you can vary the tightness, the degree of tightness in the hi-hat. By opening it, you get more of a sloshy sound, and by keeping it tight, you get a tighter or crisper sound. Okay, and these 4 components, the hi-hat, the snare drum, the kick drum, and the ride cymbal, are integral parts of the timekeeping element in playing drums. I'd like to talk a little bit about tuning. Let's talk about the tuning of the kick drum first of all. It's the biggest drum, therefore it's going to be the lowest tuned drum. And when you listen to a lot of records, be it an AC/DC record or something along those lines, you get a real, or you hear a real heavy, fat sound. And usually when you buy your drums, it won't come with any kind of internal muffling device. So I'd recommend taking like a blanket or a pillow and kind of setting it in the bass drum and kind of dampening the drum, and it gives it a real smooth, fat sound. Okay, that'll help you just establish that punch. Okay, the snare drum is a very important drum. It's the 2 and 4 punch that provides the locomotion for the groove in all heavy metal tunes or hard rock tunes. I would recommend keeping the tuning or the tensioning as even as possible. You can do that by using a drum key, just placing it on top of the tension rod. Okay, I usually put my finger in the center of the drum and tap lightly around each lug. You can hear a little bit of a pitch change, but not too much. And that's one way to ensure that the drum remains in tune. The snare drum you want to tune a little higher than the kick drum or the toms, for example. Moving along to the toms, usually drums today come with a top head and a bottom head. The top head, or the batter side, is a little thicker, and the bottom head is a little thinner. The key to tuning a double-headed drum is to make sure that both heads resonate together simultaneously in tune. There will be a slight ring, and it's kind of a personal preference on how to tune drums. There's really no rule book, you know. Everyone has their own taste. So if you like the drum to ring a lot, for instance, if you listen to some old Led Zeppelin records, John Bonham used to play his drums very wide open, and they would be very resonant, and they would ring a great deal. But I personally enjoy tuning my drums that way too. I like them to ring a lot. So that's up to you. Sometimes if the drum's ringing a little bit too much, you want to put some tape on there, a little piece of duct tape or something, just to cut down some of the bad ring, or they're called overtones. Now, the way you set your snare drum with reference to the height and height of your toms and cymbals, it's all relative, you know. It depends on whether you're a large or small person. Just how you feel comfortable is the way to gauge your setup. You know, you have to sit behind it and play it, so I would recommend just sitting down and kind of thinking about how you feel behind your drums. It's very important to feel comfortable and relaxed, and necessitates good playing. Now, the next thing I'd like to show you is some technique as far as holding the stick. The first thing you want to do is you want to find the balance point of the stick. Now, for me, it's somewhere near the end here, if you can see my hands. Look where my hand is. there's a sweet spot or a balance point, okay, that allows me to get a good fulcrum on the stick. I'm not holding it up here because when I want to do double strokes and things of that nature, different kind of fills, it's going to inhibit me, okay? You want to hold it back here where you can get some finger technique. If you can see my fingers, how they're moving the stick up and down. All right, now you don't want to hold on to the stick too tight either. That's just going to make your playing sound more forced, and it's going to inhibit some of the double stroke rolls that we're going to be doing later. This grip that I'm showing you is the match grip, which is used by most rock drummers. And the other grip, which is not commonly used by rock drummers, is called the traditional grip, like this. Okay, we're not going to use that for this style of drumming. And notice when I strike the drum that I use an authoritative kind of attack. I'm not using my whole arm. I'm not stiff, yet I'm snapping my wrist. If you notice, I'm loose. I'll hit the drum once or twice to show you. Okay, now that we've gotten our hand technique together, I want to run you through some basic rudiments. Now, there are 26 rudiments in the drumming language, and oddly enough, there are 26 letters in the English alphabet. So rudiments are kind of the basic building blocks of drumming, okay? They're little exercises for your hands to keep your chops together. The first one I want to show you is the single stroke roll. And it begins like this. 1, 2, 3, begin. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Now I'll play it at a faster tempo. 1, 2, 3, begin. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And that's basically the single stroke roll. The next one is the double stroke roll. Okay, now this involves a little more finger technique, and I'll show you what that sounds like right now. 1, 2, 3, begin. Right, right, left, left, 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 right, right. At a faster tempo, that will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, begin. Now what I'd like to do is show you how that can build. I'll start at a slower tempo and then gradually build it up to speed, okay, so you can see what the finished result will sound like. Okay, now the next rudiment I'd like to show you is a very important rudiment. It can be really applied to the drum set well, especially for hard rock. It's called the paradiddle. Okay, follow along in the booklet. 1, 2, 3, begin. It's very important when you're practicing these exercises to play very slowly and precisely. One thing that will help you do that is using a metronome or a click track. And remember that when you're playing along with this device, to keep your stick strokes very clean, and pay attention to your hand technique as well. Don't try to move too quickly or you'll frustrate yourself, and that's not the point we're trying to get at here. We're trying to be very relaxed and smooth. Okay? Now that we've got that covered, I'd like to just touch briefly on some theory, give you some background on how these note values are counted. Most hard rock music is played in the 4/4 time signature, meaning that there are 4 quarter notes in a measure, and the quarter note gets the count. Okay? I'll demonstrate that to you right now. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. basically I'm just going to subdivide the quarter note in half, cutting it in half, which will give me eighth notes. And there are 8 eighth notes per measure. And they're counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'll give you a brief demonstration of this right now. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The next subdivision will be dividing eighth notes in half. And there will be 16 16th notes per measure. 16th notes are counted 1 eana, 2 eana, 3 eana, 4 eana. And I'll give you a brief demonstration of that right now. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1 eana, 2 eana, 3 eana, 4 eana, 1 eana, 2 eana, 3 eana, 4 eana. You'll find that the 16th note pattern is a very useful pattern, and it can be used for fills on the double bass, hi-hats, and it sounds really cool, especially when you play it up to speed. Now I'd like to just show you how the eighth notes and quarter notes are integrated onto the kit, and I'll begin to show you this on the main timekeeper, the hi-hat. Okay? First I'm going to demonstrate the quarter notes. We remember how to count those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I'll show you how to play it on the hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You notice that I'm loose and I'm using my wrist when I'm doing strokes on the hi-hat. Okay. The next group of notes are known as the eighth notes, and I'll show you how those get used on the hi-hat. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's a very important element in timekeeping, and maybe you should rewind the tape a little bit and play along and just get the feel, because when we start playing actual beats, I'll be using that pattern quite a lot. Okay? Now, it's very important to understand some of the basic theory that I've just given you, knowing an eighth note from a quarter note and a 16th note from an eighth note, because when you're dealing with other musicians, a lot of times that kind of language is used when writing songs, or you're in the studio talking to producers, things of that nature. So you'll want to get a handle on that. Also, just in your own basic study, you'll want to know how to read music. It's a very, very important tool in learning. And these are the basic essentials right here. If you were able to grasp what I showed you and the counting methods that I've just showed you, you won't have any problem teaching yourself a lot of different rhythms. Now I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the bass drum pedal mechanism. There's a couple of things that you need to pay attention to in order to dial your pedals in properly so that you can play them with ease. The first thing you want to look at is the pedal spring tensioning. I like to keep mine relatively tight so that I can get a good arc, or a good response from the pedal. Okay, the tighter the spring, the faster that the beater will swing back and forth. Another thing you want to pay attention to is that the beater should strike somewhere in the middle of the bass drum. And you want to get a good arc, You want to get some power. If it's too short, you won't get a good punch. There are also two techniques when playing the bass drum pedal. You can play with your heel up, or you can play with your heel down. I have to play with the ball of my foot midpoint on the pedal. I found I get a lot more power that way. You can play heel up or heel down. It really doesn't matter, whichever way you feel comfortable. I play heel up because that's the most comfortable for me. Now I want to show you how to integrate the two patterns we learned before, the quarter notes and the eighth notes. I demonstrated those to you on the hi-hat. Now I want to show you how these patterns will sound on the bass drum. Okay? We're going to start first with the quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the next pattern I want to show you is eighth notes. Those are counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we're going to put all this information together, and I'm going to show you how to play some basic rock beats using the hi-hat, the snare drum, and the kick drum. Okay? So play along with me. I'm going to start out real slow, and this is rock beat number 1. Refer to your booklet. It's a real straightforward groove. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I'm going to add in the snare drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You feel that backbeat? That's the power right there. Now I'm going to add in the kick drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I'm just going to groove. Play along with me. Get the feel. Don't be afraid to hit the drums. Play with authority. Okay, now I want to show you rock beat number 2. It's a very straightforward groove. You've probably heard this on just about every AC/DC record ever recorded, and goes like this. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I'm going to add in the snare drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the kick drum's going to be a little different. Kick drum's going to come in on 1 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I just play them along with me. That's the basic heavy hard rock groove. Loosen up on the hi-hat a little bit too, make it sound fuller. Okay, rock beat number 3 is just another slight variation on rock beat number 2. The kick drum's going to come in on 1 and 3 and. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm going to add in the snare drum now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the kick drum comes in at 1 and 3 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now you can play around with the hi-hat a little bit, make it sound different. Play along with me. Feel the groove. Pattern number 4 is essentially the same patterns with the hi-hat and snare drum, and the kick drum is going to come in on 1 and 3 and. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm going to add in the kick drum. Comes in on 1 and 3 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Play along with me. Notice how I'm using the hi-hat. Change up the groove a little bit. Open up the hi-hat, make it sound full. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is how to use the ride cymbal in a beat. I'll play the same pattern as I did in beat number 4, except I'm going to use a quarter note groove on the bell of the cymbal, or a quarter note feel on the bell of the cymbal, and play the same kick and snare patterns as before. So play along with me. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to add in the snare drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want to add in the kick drum. Same pattern as number 4. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I want to give you a little demonstration of how you can take these 3 beats or 4 beats that I've shown you and kind of mix them up at random to make it sound a little more interesting. And if you're playing with a band, you'll want to do that too. You just don't want to play the same kick and snare patterns all the time. So just check this out. Okay, now we've been learning to play these grooves and keeping a good solid beat, which is very important. But to make things a little more interesting, we're going to throw in what's called a fill. Okay, now I'm going to go back to exercise number 2, which was like the AC/DC beat, and I'm going to insert a 16th note roll. Okay, sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, begin. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1. Play this next one with me. Notice I crash on 1 when I come back in. And when I do that fill, watch my left foot on the hi-hat. I keep time. Okay, now I'm going to show you the same groove, but instead of just playing the 16th note fill on the snare drum, I'm going to move it around the drums to make things more interesting. You can go all the way down the toms in a linear fashion, or you can hit the toms at random and really mix things up, okay? So refer to your book. I'm not going to count on this one. And here we go. At this particular point, I'd like to show you another rudimental pattern that makes an excellent drum fill. It's called a triplet. And I'm going to demonstrate how to count a triplet over 4/4 time, okay? Basically, a triplet is counted like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... Okay? Now over 4/4 time, I'll play straight fours on the kick, just quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and play the triplet over that, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... Okay, now I'm going to go back to groove number 2. I'm going to play that basic groove, and instead of playing the 16th note fill, I'm going to play the 8th note triplet fill, okay? 1, 2, 3, begin. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Well, I guess that pretty much wraps it up for tape 1. I realize that that's a lot of information to be thrown at a beginner in a 30-minute time frame, but all I can recommend to you is just, take your time. Feel free to rewind the video as many times as possible to just pick up all the little odds and ends you may have missed the first time around. And be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. I've spent years playing the drums and to get to the level that I'm at right now, and I'm still learning. I learn every day something new. So I wish you the best of luck. Practice hard, and I'll see you on tape 2.